Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to English Grade 8 video lecture series. I'm your instructor Zia Hamid. I hope, students, that you're doing well and you're ready for today's video lesson. Now, today we are going to talk about abbreviations, the short forms, and we will also talk about using affixes. These are root words, prefixes, and some suffixes. Now, students, let's talk about our students' learning outcome. Today, we have two topics that we have merged into one lecture. First one is to use the dictionary or thesaurus for looking for and using abbreviations and acronyms. These are shortcuts and short forms of words. Then we will use knowledge of syllable patterns, and when we are dividing words into different syllables, we have roots, the root word, for example, bio and funct, and we have prefixes and suffixes, which we also called affixes. Affixes include both prefix and suffix. For example, semi, quad, ologist, Asian, all these are, this is a prefix, this is a prefix, and these are your suffixes. And we will use them to construct long words, words that have multiple syllables. We call them multisyllabic words, and in order to pronounce them correctly, we have seen in one of the previous lessons that we stress on the right word. We actually exert force when we are saying a particular kind of a particular unit of that word or sound. So we put stress on that. So the learning outcomes are very much clear. We will look for abbreviations and acronyms, and then we will talk about affixes. Now, students, here is your vertical linkage. It links your SLO with the previous grade. And for beginning the lesson, let's think about it. We want to brainstorm about words like biologist, quadrilateral, or electrician. Now, these are words having multiple syllables. Can you find out the syllables? Now, after doing that, we know that these are words that are made up of roots, prefixes, and suffixes. For example, in the word biologist, the root word is bio and logist is our suffix. It's the word that is coming after our root word. So there are a lot of words which you can divide in roots, prefixes, and suffixes. Now let's move on, students. Let's talk about using dictionary. So when you're using a dictionary, you come up and you find different information in a dictionary. For example, your entry word, the meaning of that word, you can find pronunciation, you can find abbreviation of the part of speech which the word belongs to. For example, here the word fortify is a verb. It is represented by an abbreviation V, a short form. So we have meanings, different things. But students, we also have some words that are abbreviations and they are acronyms. So dictionary also tells us about acronyms and abbreviations. Let's see that what is an abbreviation. An abbreviation is a short form. It's a shortcut or short form of a word or a phrase. For example, we write DR with a period or full stop for doctor. AVE, we write it for avenue. And MR period or full stop is representing Mr. So these are short forms that we write. Of course, when we are saying them, we have to say the full form. We cannot say DR dot or full stop. We have to say doctor, avenue, or Mr. But when we are writing, we can use their short forms, and they are what we call abbreviations. So if you notice, dear students, we have taken the first letter of doctor, D, and the last one over here, and it becomes an abbreviation, a short form. In avenue, we have just taken the first three letters and we shortcut it. Then in Mr., we took the first letter or and the last one, and it becomes MR full stop. So this is how you abbreviate any long word for your easiness and to shorten it down as well. Next one, let's talk about some examples. Now here is a sentence that includes different abbreviations. For example, Dr. Javed, who's currently undertaking research on DNA, can't attend the WHO conference being held in the US in October 2024. DNA, we know that this is an abbreviation of the term, the biological term. WHO is actually an abbreviation for World Health Organization, and United States is the short form and abbreviation of United States. Now you see that here we also used can't, which is a contraction. This is also kind of a short form, but they are called contractions and they are different from abbreviations and acronyms. We use the apostrophe comma for contractions. Cannot becomes can't, and will not becomes won't. Now here are some more abbreviations. Now if you look up in the dictionary, dear students, you find the classification of the word represented by abbreviations. N represents noun, PRON represents pronoun, and all of these parts of speech are represented with abbreviations. Now let's talk about acronyms. Acronyms are like abbreviations. They are also abbreviations, but there is a slight difference. We actually take the first letter of every word and then we combine it and say it together. Some acronyms are said like words and some acronyms are just pronounced as letters. For example, let's see, an abbreviation formed from the initial letters or the first letters of other words and pronounced as a word. For example, we have ASCII and NASA. NASA, we know it's a short form. It's an acronym that we just pronounce it as it is. It stands for National Aeronautic Space Agency or National American. So you can see the abbreviation, the full form of NASA. So this is an abbreviation and it is not a contraction, but it is rather an acronym. Here are some more acronyms. For example, the ABAC. This is an acronym, stands for Association of British Aero Clubs and Centres. ABBA stands for American Board of Bioanalysis. So you can see that this page of dictionary, we have abbreviation dictionaries and acronym dictionaries separately. So you can find so many different abbreviations with their full forms and also acronyms with their full forms. Now, here we have some acronyms. Now, NATFHE, you can call it NATFE. So it stands for National Association of Teachers in Further and Higher Education. NATFE. This is how you pronounce it. NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization and you pronounce it as NATO. SNAFU, SNAFU means Situation Normal All piled up. And TARDIS stands for time and relative dimensions in space. And we take, if you notice, we take the N, the A, the T of teachers, F for further, H for higher, and E for education. We take them and make our acronyms. Now, acronyms are very helpful, students. If you want to remember, if you want to memorize and then remember for a longer period of time, long phrases and name of organizations or different entities and institutes, you can just shorten them down, make an acronym, and memorize it for a longer time. Here, now students, not all of acronyms are pronounced as words. Some are just pronounced as letters because there are no vowels available in those acronyms. We call them initialisms. Acronyms are said as words, but initialisms, which is a kind of an acronym, but they are said as letters. For example, the word laser. This is an acronym. Laser stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Laser. But Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, we call it with separate letters. We don't call it FABI or FABI, we just call it FBI because it is initialism. But acronyms are said as words. I hope the difference is very much clear. Now, for the classroom activity, you are going to identify the acronyms and abbreviations and put them in the right place. For example, let's do the first one together. Write the correct abbreviation and acronyms on the line. Choose the abbreviations and acronyms from the table. Very important person. It is VIP. V for very, I for important, and P for person. So what do you think? Is it an abbreviation or an acronym? This is an acronym. And is it initialism or simple acronym? This is initialism. We pronounce each letter separately. Now do the rest of these questions by yourself as your classroom activity. Students, let's talk about the second learning outcome that we have discussed at the start about affixes. Now, prefixes are group of letters that are coming before the root word or the main word. Here, the prefix is semi. Semi means half. You can make words like semicircle, semiconductor, etc. So here are all the prefixes with their meanings and their examples. Now, why do we call it prefix? Because it is coming before our root word, semi. Bi means two, bicycle, having two tires. Tricycle. Tri is our prefix. Cycle is the root word. Tricycle means a cycle with 3 tires. Now, here are some prefixes and suffixes. Let's talk about them. So, the word biologist. Bio means life and logist means one who studies is called a logist. So, biologist means a person who studies life. So, and the stress should be on the letter O, biologist. Now, semi means half plus circle, which is our root word. So, semicircle, semi is our prefix and circle is our root word. And we have to stress on the SE at the start. So, it's semicircle. So, students, now with these prefixes, you can create so many different words. For example, we have a word quadrangle. Quad means 4, wrangle means a plane figure. Function. Func means perform, shun means process. So any word that is ending with shun or tion is known to have a process. Physic, physician. Physic means nature plus shun means a specialist. So a specialist on the laws of nature, the rules of nature, they are called physicians. Now, what is shun over here? This is our suffix because it is coming after our root word. So any word that is coming before the root word is called prefix, and any word, group of words coming after the root word, they are called suffix. Now here is a simulation link, dear students. It tells you the difference between, with examples, the difference between abbreviations, acronyms, and also initialisms. So you will learn a lot of examples from this video. For the classroom activity, you are going to, for the prefix and suffix, here are some prefixes: semi, quad, extra, and hyper. And here are some suffixes: ishan, shunnel, session, and ologist. Now these are our suffixes. You need a word before them, and for prefixes you need a word after that. So do this quickly. Here is an example. For ishnal, you can make national or international. You added a prefix inter before national, and that becomes a new word, international. You write extra resources or extracurricular, extraordinary. So extra is your prefix, and you can make word like extracurricular, extraordinary, extra resources, etc. Now for the classroom activity, here is another activity of pairs where you read next units of your book and find 10 different words with prefixes and suffixes. Write those words in your notebook. The pair who finds the words in less time will get the highest points, or maybe even a surprise from the teacher. Now, let's talk about the homework. You have to create 3 abbreviations from any words of your choice, and similarly create 2 acronyms from any phrase of your choice. Now, students, you are well aware that the difference between abbreviation and acronym is clear. Abbreviation is where we take the shortcut, and acronym is where we take the initials of each letter of each word and combine them together and say them. Now, you have to make 3 and 2 abbreviations and acronyms accordingly. Here is your worksheet. You will get 2 worksheets this time for solving, and I hope that you will have great time learning about the topic. The resources are given over here. You will also get a skill sheet, 2 worksheets, a lesson plan, and this PowerPoint presentation. I hope now, students, we are very much clear about the learning outcome. Now it's time for you to learn and practice abbreviations and acronyms, and also prefixes and suffixes. Take care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.